We've seen Brad Pitt in a lot of ways. We've seen him as a heartthrob, we've seen him as a cop, we've seen him as Cliff Boothand, and we've even seen him as Tyler Durden. But one way that we've never really seen him, outside of maybe Mr. and Mrs. Smith, is as an action star. But that's all going to change with Bullet Train. So, how does Brad Pitt's long-awaited crowning as an action hero go? We'll dive into it with our review of Bullet Train. Now, if you're a fan of action movies, you're probably familiar with the work of production company 87 North. Run by David Leitch, Chad Stahelski, and Kelly McCormick, they've been thoroughly transforming Hollywood action movies since bursting onto the scene with John Wick. The key to their success is through their expertise, they can make a guy like Bob Odenkirk and nobody into a legit action icon. So Brad Pitt has chosen the right crew to hook up with. With Leitch at the helm, Bullet Train is chock full of action movie expertise, but with Pitt they had a dilemma. How would you introduce Brad Pitt as an action star but make it fresh? Frankly, they couldn't really have him do kung fu or use guns. Keanu Reeves already does that in the John Wick movies. They also couldn't really have him do outrageous stunts because, well, Tom Cruise has that down cold in Mission Impossible. So what they basically did was transform Brad Pitt into an everyman action hero by throwing him in way over his head into a deadly situation, a formula that's always worked well. And they have him fight with props, kind of like an old school version of Jackie Chan. This gives his character a totally different kind of energy that works like a charm and differentiates him from the rest of the cast. Based on the Japanese novel Maria Beetle by Kotaro Isaka, Brad Pitt plays an unlucky private investigator and not an assassin as he's been described in a lot of the stories I've been seeing run about this movie. It's his avoidance of murder and violence that gets him into trouble as he's been sent onto a bullet train in Tokyo to recover a briefcase but pointedly refuses to take the gun his handler has provided for him. He's newly zen and doesn't want trouble. Enter a whole cast of characters including two Cockney assassins named Lemon and Tangerine, played by Aaron Taylor Johnson and Brian Tyree Henry, a vengeful father, played by Andrew Koji, and another crazed killer, played by Bad Bunny. Plus, a young girl, played by Joey King, who's deadlier and more demented than them all. Basically, Bullet Train would be like if you took Knives Out, Murder on the Orient Express, John Wick, and Rumble in the Bronx and threw them into a blender. It's a completely over-the-top action flick, but with very little in the way of big tentpole movies on the way before October, it's maybe our last great option for a blast of big screen action we'll see for a little bit. It's superior to the recent Gray Man because it focuses on character, albeit with heavy doses of humor that may turn off the more traditional action fans. If you can take it as a romp, it's a total blast with some awesome cameos I'm not going to spoil here. The whole cast is great, with King stealing scenes as the teenage killer with a heart of stone, while Aaron Taylor Johnson and Brian Tyree Henry get a huge push on this. Next to Pitt, they're almost the protagonists. I could see why Aaron Taylor Johnson got craven off of his work here, with him having the movie's standout fight scene, a battle royale with Brad Pitt. Tyree Henry also brings a lot of heart to his Thomas the Tank Engine obsessed killer, and both men play beautifully off Pitt. All that said, this is Brad Pitt's show all the way. Riffing on his role in True Romance, but again mixed with the Jackie Chan style fight scenes, there's a chance that his character, Ladybug, could become iconic. He never takes himself too seriously, not for a moment, and his action chops are on point. I mean, that's actually Brad Pitt up there doing all the action, and it's pretty impressive. The rest of the cast is similarly good, but for the sake of spoilers, I'm going to stop describing them right here. Suffice to say, this is hard R with tons of bloody action, although I'll say this. If you have kids around 11 or 12 that love action, this would be fine for them. The Gray Man actually has a much higher body count, but it's all bloodless, and I think the fact that less people die here more brutally also helps give this a little more stakes in my opinion. The score by Dominic Lewis is top shelf with lots of interesting song selections, with popular pop songs like Stayin' Alive and Hero by Bonnie Tyler showing up in Japanese. While it's obvious this was all shot during COVID, meaning that it was all shot on a set in Los Angeles, I was having a blast throughout, even if the finale is maybe a little too CGI heavy compared to what came before. They could have pulled back on it a teensy tiny bit, so I'm kind of wavering here between a 7 and an 8, but hey, I'm a sucker for seeing Brad Pitt in action hero mode, so an 8 on 10 it is.
Deer Creek International Business Solutions, how can I help you?
I am ready.
Well, that's great, Ladybug.
Ladybug?
Your new operational name?
Oh, I see what you're doing. Ladybug's supposed to be lucky. Ha!
You don't have bad luck.
Really? My bad luck is biblical. I'm not even trying to kill people and someone dies. Remember the suicidal bellboy?
You drove him to the hospital.
Hang in there, buddy!
And he didn't die.
Okay, the wedding. Tequila? Johannesburg. time for some change.
You wanted simple for your first job back. Doesn't get simpler.
We need to find the person who took that case.
That's too easy. Shit.
What?
Remember those two wackos from the Bolivia job?
The twins?
Yeah, not so sure they're twins.
Get off the train.
You stab me?
We never stop coming for you.
What? I missed my stop.
Something else going on here.
Hi. You don't remember me?
You look like every white homeless man I've ever seen.
Really? You don't remember me? Eat a bag of dicks, lady. I'm sorry. I'm working on it.
Get off at the next stop.
Sounds so easy when you say it.
One little prick from this, you know what happens?
Yes!
Your blood congeals, clogging your veins.
I said yes! Shit balls.
You're going to want to hear the whole story.
What's waiting for us in Kyoto?
The White Death, with his army of assassins.
There's this soulless psychotic leader with the largest criminal organization on the planet, shoved right inside of...
I don't see the White Death letting any of us off this train. We need to come up with a plan. I'm gonna hurt people.
What's happening to your face? Maybe there was a little head trauma?
Maybe. I gotta get off this train. Sorry, buddy. Kill it!
Exclusively in movie theaters.